Coach Autry's here. I'm done killing time with my
weather on the ones.
My meteorology.
All right, pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Orange, Adrian Autry, joining us now. And, Coach, congrats on the win last night. And let's start right there. I know you guys really needed one. It wasn't the prettiest of wins, but, it had to feel good to win that game and make plays down the stretch. In your mind, kind of what was the difference last night in picking up that win over Georgia Tech?
I thought, I was happy for these guys. These guys have been battling all year, and haven't gotten the results consistently that we want. But I thought the difference was obviously having JJ back, getting another game under his belt. I thought when plays needed to be made, he made them, and that speaks to the type of player that he is. You got to have that guy. I know every team has a guy, and he's our guy. And I just thought he made plays down the end. That kind of separated us, that we haven't had for a while.
It means a lot to have him back on the floor, and it's not just his scoring ability, right? I mean, his presence makes everybody better because he draws so much attention, I would assume, from opposing defenses. And I know you said it in your press conference last night that it's not a coincidence. JJ's back, and now Chris Bell seems to be coming alive here a little bit, and JJ does make those around him better, doesn't he? Yeah,
he's one of the best players in college basketball, one of the best guards and players, the thing about JJ is he draws a lot of attention with his speed, his quickness. He can pass it. He made a couple of passes at the end of the game. I think the biggest thing that they don't talk about is his defense on the other end. He came up with 2 blocks last night. He was really good. He gives us a physical guard, a guy that can guard, 1 or 2, 3, 1, 2 or 3. I thought he did a really good job in our defense and contested some shots and rebounding the basketball. He's an all-around player, but he's the guy that can, like you said, draw a lot of attention and make the game a little easier for other guys.
We saw him start at the 1 last night. What led to that decision?
I think, for this team, we needed that. I thought at the beginning of the year, I thought playing him off the ball would help, but as he grew, and we knew he was going to play a little bit on the ball and off the ball, but, as he grew and the way he was playing before he got hurt, he just looked so much better, and our team just functioned so much better when he was at the point. And that was actually the plan going forward before he got hurt. But the team functions so much better when he has the ball in his hands.
We saw Jaquan Carlos come off the bench last night. We saw Chris Bell come off the bench against Florida State and then again last night. Can you speak to that a little bit? It sounded like, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounded like it was almost like a mutual decision. Like in talking with Chris, you mutually decided that might be the best thing for him. And, we've seen him play a lot better these last couple of games. Can you talk about that decision, what went into it, and how you've seen him, improve and kind of get back on track these last couple of games?
Yeah, me and Chris, we sat down and we talked, and I kind of told him what I thought I seen him playing, how he was playing, tentative and kind of, not, obviously when you're pressing, when you're not playing up to your potential, and as a coach, you try to figure out what's the best decision, and try to help your players. And I thought, just bringing him off the bench and stop having him worry about when he's coming out the game, and change his mindset and how he looked at it until going into the game, and just kind of taking that, that pressure to a little bit of pressure off, of himself. And I think, he responded to that well, and just to get him in a spot. He knows how important he is, and I think, he was really, really putting a ton of pressure on himself, and it was harder for him because he had moved up on the scouting report in the absence of JJ, so he was getting the best defender. They were, willing to let everybody else play and really take things away from him, and I thought that would, kind of help him kind of get into the game a little easier.
How do you do the same with Elijah Moore now at this point? We were, Matt and Coach Starling were talking on the broadcast last night that he has more shots go halfway down and pop out than anybody we've seen before. How do you get him going?
Keep shooting. I mean, they popping in and out, just keeping him, aggressive. I think he can do a better job of, driving the ball a little bit more, playing off of 2 feet because he can score in that area. So trying to mix it up. But again, as a coach, you see those shots and at some point those shots are going to start falling for him. And then, that's going to be a big addition for this team. But you just keep him going. You keep him, you don't change anything. The fact that, they are, you could just tell he's had a lot of those things roll in and out. So it's just a matter of time before they start dropping.
On the other end of the floor, Coach, you took a Georgia Tech team that had been scoring the basketball at a high rate, and you held them to 55 points. You turned them over a bunch. You won the rebounding battle. You held them to a low shooting percentage. Defensively, what have you noticed in terms of the improvements? And then what are some things that what are some things that still need to be addressed, I guess, on that side of the court?
Well, I think the one thing is that I think these guys have I think they're picking up what we're trying to do defensively. I thought they did a really good job of attention to detail with the scouting report of what we wanted to do. We had a couple of different coverages. I thought we executed. We had a couple of mix-ups, which happens. But overall, I thought we carried out the game plan. As far as Georgia Tech, they can shoot the ball. We wanted to make them, play in a 2-point game, and I thought we did. And we have to continue to do that. And I think at this point, it's really just executing the game plan and continue to rebound the basketball. I think we did a really good job there. We've been a good rebounding team all year. I think we got to continue to do that. That's a part of defense as well. There's rebounding the basketball, and so we got to continue to do that and just execute the game plan and keep fighting and staying connected. I think we were more connected yesterday, where someone may have advantage. We were in our gaps a little bit more and being able to push out as opposed to just stand out and watch it. So I thought we were more active yesterday.
All right, Coach, I'm going to do something I used to do with Coach Boeheim, and occasionally he called me Paul in this situation when he wasn't happy with a question. But something that comes up frequently with our callers in our chat is people want to know, do you run offense, and what I know it's a silly question. Do you run offense, and what is your offensive philosophy?
Well, my offensive philosophy is, and I do run offense. Do we execute it the way I wanted to be executed all the time? No. I think every coach would say that. But I think you run the best offense that fits your players, right, and your personnel. Some teams are good passing teams. Some teams are not good passing teams. Some teams are good driving teams. Some teams are not good driving teams. But my philosophy and my concepts is spacing, ball movement, having players make reads and having enough freedom. All right. Obviously you want to set screens and playing spacing and let drivers drive and shooters shoot. And, for overall, that's the offense, right? The offense I want the ball to be spaced. I want to move the ball from side to side. I want 5 guys involved. So if that's the big man flashing up and being able to hand off or pass it and reverse it and roll, would love to have big guys, flash up and shoot. So, just more of a, continuity, not really player driven at certain times. We got to get the ball certain places in certain areas, and certain guys got to have the ball. But overall, my overall offensive philosophy is 5 guys all moving and playing together.
All right, I got one more question for you. The turnovers. How do you stop the turnover problem? And it seems like it just popped up in the last 5 games or so. How do you stop the turnovers?
It's the numbers. The numbers are alarming, and then when I go watch film, a lot of these, like, you cut half of them down, and they're just careless, mistakes, stepping out of bounds. How many how many out of bounds turnovers we've gotten? That's frustrating. Like, they should know, where they're at. Or how many, travelings, or how many times we get a rebound and we try to make a, pass inside. It's those turnovers that are very frustrating. And we just got to keep, showing them and working on them and making better decisions. And I think, that will cut down some of the turnovers. And also, trying to get the ball to, and there's a lot of interior guys, trying to get the ball to them in better places so they don't have to they can make less decisions.
We should point out, and Paulie and I were talking about earlier in the show, that this team really hasn't been whole for, more than a month now. JJ's injury, we know Eddie Lampkin, at times has been dealing with some things, and now Donnie's, out, missed last night's game, his foot in a walking boot. Can you update us at all on Donnie's situation? You had mentioned day-to-day last night. Do you expect him to play against BC? Is it something that, you feel might keep him out for a little bit?
Yeah, we're not sure yet. I think again, it is kind of day to day. I don't want to say, hey, I don't expect him to play BC, and then he says that he can go. So that's why I said it's day to day, and just talking to our medical staff, that was just the honest way to say it. He can. Again, we thought JJ would be. We didn't know how long JJ would be, and that's why we were saying, hey, it's kind of day to day, week to week, or whatever it may be in the early stages. Then after that, the timetable became day to day because, these kids, these young men, they heal fast, and things go away fast. So you just don't know with the timetable. But I always move forward as if we're not going to have someone. I've gotten accustomed to that this year, unfortunately. We started the season off, not full. Obviously, Chance was in the plans, and then, he has some issues, and then JJ and Donnie. But that's, for year two for me, it's been a lot of that dealing with, trying to get the team whole.
And let's look ahead to BC, whether you have Donnie or not. You're going on the road, a chance to make it back-to-back ACC wins. It's a team that's 9-6 overall, 1-3 in conference play. What can you tell us about this BC team that you're going to see on Saturday?
Earl Grant is a great coach, done a great job at BC. The one thing about BC and his teams, they're going to be physical defensively. They always are really good defensive teams, and offensively, they got a big guy that can go inside. The makeup of their team is, they have a lot of interior scoring and have good guards on perimeter. But the one thing that sticks out about Boston College is they defend, very physical defensive team.
All right, Coach. We look forward to seeing you back in action on Saturday. That'll be a 3:00 tip in Chestnut Hill against the BC Eagles. Congrats again on the win last night. Best of luck Saturday. We look forward to chatting with you again next week.
Thank you.
All right, Adrian Autry joining us here on the program. And with that, we'll step aside. We'll take